Okay, so I'd like to invite, we've got 4 people and apologies from a couple as well. So apologies from Leanne McKinnon. She broke her wrist, unfortunately, so she couldn't make it here today. And I haven't seen a Matt Wood here yet as well, so Matt's an apology as well. So, I'll introduce the 4 people we've got coming up. So Matt Collin, Bert Kennedy, Olivia Holbert and Peter Hancock, if you come up and take a seat. So we're fairly informal. I'll introduce each of our guests for the chat. I've got a few questions I'll throw to them. I've got a mixture of people with very varying experiences here, some good stories to tell, and without further ado, I'll kick it off. So if you're just coming in, feel free to grab a seat. There's a couple down at the front as well. There's also some extra chairs out the back if you need to. Okay, so Matt, I think we first met maybe in 2018. I don't know, a long time ago now, and it was just a Facebook. It was an old Facebook group that was like for people who like to do social ultra free runs, and then we just met and did like this crazy mission in the back of the Blue Mountains. Yeah, and since then you've come along to pretty much almost all the runs that we've done. And Matt's recently just come back from running at Western States, so he's showing us his Western States shirt. So we've got a few Western States and a successful completion, I might add, yeah. So I've got a few Western States questions we'll throw to you. Next to Matt is Bert, or do you prefer Bertie or Bert? Bert's got a lot of ultra experience, FKT experience, running on Great North Walk as well, which we'll go into. I'm really excited to pick your brain about that and also how it relates to your fundraising and mental health. So welcome, Bert. Next to Bert is Olivia. Welcome, Olivia. Olivia has run a lot of long distance races, big 100-mile races, as well as a backyard ultra recently. So interested to hear about how that went, and also running a shorter distance today. So a bit of everything. So and you're also a coach as well. So got a few questions as well from a coach perspective, but then also running all these different distances. So welcome, Olivia. And next to Olivia is Pete Hancock. Now, Pete was meant to be here last year on the panel, but it snowed in Armidale, and we couldn't get him here. So Graham stepped up and had a chat. But we've got a lot of questions for Pete around swimming. We heard there's going to be a mid-run swim tomorrow. So Pete's got a lot of ultra running, ultra swimming, ultra biking experience, and I've got some good questions and stories to ask Pete as well. So thank you, Matt, Bert, Olivia and Pete for being here. Okay, so first question for Matt. A lot of people are following along and excited to see Western States this year. Could you talk us through the experience? Just, share some stories.
Thanks very much for that. So the first thing I'll say is that I think it was 8 years in the lottery before I got in. And it's a completely different event from this one in that it's absolutely massive, and it's, I guess, in the United States, everything is big, including their ultras. So there's, I think, 370 odd runners and about 2,000 volunteers. Completely insane. And you start off with a big uphill, and it's like the Tour de France. There's all sorts of people along both sides of the track cheering you on. It's famous for its hot weather, for getting to 40 degrees and above in the canyons, but when we did it, was the cold front went through, and the coldest year ever. It's really good to see something so iconic. It was the first 100-miler in history, and it's where belt buckles come from there. And you're going along and you'll see a lot of the big names from the running world, that have won events and have various records and world records. We had an Olympic medalist there as well. So that's kind of the takeout for me, is just how big and insane the event was, and oh yeah, there's a little 100-mile run on the side that some people do, and that kind of feels like a bit of a thing on the side.
So, yeah, so can you talk to that? How do the Americans make something like that so massive for a smaller amount of people and runners? And how did that play out into the day for you? Like, yeah, what was that experience like?
So the Americans are very good at doing things big, whether it's their coffees, their food, their people, their ultras, they do big really well. In terms of how does it play out, really well, you know, there's a pacer finder, so I was able to find a local who paced people for the last 10 years, and so got some local experience. The aid stations are a bit crazy, so there'll be, you know, 200 or 300 metres before you get to an aid station, someone will be with a walkie-talkie to radio your number ahead, so that if you've got a drop bag, the drop bag is waiting for you. There's someone there to personally assist you at the aid station. There'll be 10 volunteers lined up, so if you want chips, there's someone to look after chips.
Yeah,
if you want lollies, there's someone looking after lollies. There's someone looking after water. There's someone looking after Coke. And it just creates a huge excitement. You know, at 3 a.m, you know, you go around a corner and all of a sudden it's like a bush doof in the middle of nowhere, and you know, this aid station of 20, 30 people, and Scott Jurek's there getting you a cup of coffee. So, you know,
Yeah, wow.
completely bonkers sorts of experience like that.
Wow. I'll pass on to, I've got more questions on Western States. I'll pass on to Bert. So, Bert, you've done a lot of races on the opposite extent of the spectrum in the big high country, or whether it's an FKT. Could you talk through your connection and go through what you've done on the Great North Walk and the fundraising and all that side of things?
So 2019, I decided to go out and back on the Great North Walk, which was the first person to attempt it, to try to raise money for my mate's wife. She was dying of MND. So we thought, what can we do to sort of get attention, to raise some money? So yeah, we successfully made it to Sydney and back, not without some injuries along the way. We're hoping for about 6 days. It ended up being just over 6.5. It was 530k on foot. During that experience, I didn't realise, I was only new to running, so I'd only been running for about 6 months by that point. So I didn't realise how much was involved in it. It had a massive mental toll. So after that run was completed, I decided to rerun it to try to raise some awareness around mental health, because I found that some of the stuff I was pushing through, which people were seeing, like, you got the ability to do stuff, but people don't understand how much you're actually suffering. So I wanted to highlight some of the things that I went through. So we attempted to rerun it. So 2020, we went to rerun it. We're trying to, at that point, it used to have the FKTs in both directions. So we were trying to see if we could break the FKT both ways on the one run, which was ambitious. But come 2020, when COVID kicked in, it put restrictions, so we weren't able to actually go out and back, because you could only have a limited number of people in Sydney at that point, and with the amount of crew and runners and that's required, we logistically we just weren't able to do it. So 2020 we just did a one-way run just for training, so we could have a fair skeleton crew. Went to rerun it 2021, 6 weeks out, stress fractured femur. So that put it off for another year. Then 2022, we run again 2022. Got pretty ill, probably about 50k out, to the point where it's. I spoke with my doctor over the phone, and he said it probably should have stopped. So, we decided we'd finish that one direction. We got the FKT on the way down, so we ended up beating that by about 40 minutes, and In between that, we'd done a little bit like Coast to Cosy as a training run and Great Southern Endurance run. Oscar's Hut to Hut. I sort of really become quite passionate about running in the mountains. So.
Yeah. There's a photo I've seen of you. It must have been one of those runs where it was 0 degrees with negative wind chill, and he's got no shirt on. Are you going to be running with a shirt tomorrow?
Yeah, nah.
No? It's going to be probably 0 on the start line tomorrow, or close to it. So you'll warm up.
Well, Great Southern, went around that 2019. That was, we got down to -2.
Yeah.
So, still shorts and shoes, real good. I'd pack. Yeah.
Right. You might get along with Pete. You guys can talk about ice experiences. Okay. And so you've done the GNW a number of times now. Like, what makes what about that track makes you keep going back to have a go? Because it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Brutal.
I think there's so much diversity on that track. Between Newcastle and Sydney, you're zigzagging from one side of the freeway to the other. And it's just, so much. You have little jungle sections and you have rock sections and sandy fire trails. And they're so scenic too. So it's just an absolutely beautiful trail. And I like the savageness of it. So it's I think one that'll always be close to my heart.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, I'll change tack and jump to Olivia. So, Olivia, if you could talk through, you recently did Dead Cow Gully, which I was surprised because I thought you loved the trail races. So you talk through how did that go for you, first backyard ultra, and just maybe talk through that experience and
Thank you. So recently I did Dead Cow Gully as my first backyard ultra, and it was extremely harder than I expected. I think people definitely underestimate how tough it is, but the format of going out, I didn't realise beforehand how intense the format is, and you're going out and doing the same course, the same loop every hour on the hour. So it's quite a lot of impact on your joints, using the same muscles constantly hour after hour. Whereas when you're doing the trail runs and the mountain ultras, you're kind of alternating between the muscles you're using a little bit more. I found that affect me significantly, and that's probably what stopped me.
Okay.
My ankles and Achilles couldn't really handle that, and they just progressively got worse and worse, which I've never actually experienced that before in a mountain ultra trail run. I've never really had ankle or Achilles issues. But I think it's just, that repetition over the same course and the same terrain for so long. And, not much sleep. You don't really know until you're doing it how long 5 to 10 minutes feels like and how much you get done in that time. It's not every time I kind of went to try and have a sleep, I was just getting to sleep and I'd hear the 3 whistles go. So,
would you do another one? Or
yeah, definitely.
Oh, wow.
I think it's the addiction's the same as trail running. The challenge, because it was extremely hard. I'll definitely be back to give it another shot.
Yeah,
I learnt a lot doing it, so I think there's a few lessons that I can kind of take into the next one and implement a few different things. It was a really cool experience.
Is there anything from that you would take to the trail runs, or even this weekend, or anything the other way around?
I think the nutrition I handled pretty well, because I was something I've prioritised in the past, doing a lot of trail running and things like that, was nailing my nutrition, and incorporating a lot of real food into my nutrition when I'm doing the trail runs definitely helped that, because the last thing you feel like when you're doing a backyard ultra is gels. So being able to stomach real food in the backyard ultra was really good. I think it's quite different in the sense that you really have to pace yourself in a backyard ultra. You don't want to be coming back too soon. So when you first head out, you're kind of picking sections to walk and run on each loop, which, it's kind of similar to trail running. You kind of walk in the ups and run in the downs and flats. So, yeah.
Cool. Conscious of time, I'll do multiple rounds of questions. So I'll jump to Pete. You guys can all hear me, right? Yeah, okay, great. Oh, that's right. Okay, Pete, Pete, you've done a few loopy stuff and also some loopy adventures as well. So this time last year, it was snowing. Could you tell us about the loopy thing you did when it was snowing in Armidale, and maybe talk about your annual winter experiences that you do?
Yeah, last year in Armidale, it sort of started snowing Saturday morning. I was due here Sunday. I think I was
Sunday,
coming down.
yeah,
I was
Sunday,
coming down
yeah.
Sunday morning. So, but it snowed Saturday, and I thought, I'll leave. I'll leave once it stops snowing. It didn't stop snowing. So I went. There's a dam near Armidale called Jumeric Dam. So I went out and had a swim because I like swimming in the cold and while it was snowing. It was quite nice, and the water temperature at that time in the dam was about 8 degrees. So I went home then and we've got a spa in our backyard, so I had a spa with my son, and the snow was falling. It was really nice, but then it stopped snowing about 11 o'clock, so I thought I'll head out and try and get across to Yulong while it stopped snowing. So I was driving out of Armidale, and as I was going out, there were Mazda 3s and other cars that had just come off the road. They hadn't crashed, they just lost traction because there was snow all over the road. And I got out past Wallamombi, which is about 50 k's from Armidale, and there were cars across the road, so we couldn't get past. So I turned around and went back there's a place called Wallamombi Falls, and there's a gorgeous there. And so I went for a little run there, and there was snow swirling around. It was quite beautiful. I was the only one out there, and there was snow on the ground. And a lot of the trees around there, because they're not used to the weight of the snow, they were dropping branches, so you'd be running through the forest and you hear this big crack and the trees would fall. But then, I got back home, and then the next morning it had stopped snowing, and Armidale was just like an American Christmas movie. There was like snow on all the roofs and snow on all the yards, to about 20 centimetres. So normally if we get snow there, we'll get maybe 1 or 2 centimetres, and it'll last till lunchtime and then be gone. But this one, it stayed all weekend. So I went out to the dam again because I wanted to have another swim, and there was a lot of snow all the way down to the water, and the ducks were swimming around with snow on their backs. And I went in, and the water then was 6 degrees, so it had dropped 2 degrees, and I started swimming towards the back of the dam. And it was getting colder and colder because that's where the creek flows in, and all the snow that had melted had come into the water and had made it even colder. So, and I got to a point where the water was extra cold. It was like hitting a wall almost. You're going from warmer water to a cold water. It was just like a front. And I looked at my watch, and it was 2 degrees, the water. And I thought, I'll keep swimming. It's probably a bit risky, but I'll just... You only get this chance once, so I kept going, and then about 100 metres later I hit my head on some ice. The back of the dam had frozen over, and I sort of thought, I could try and push through the ice, but I thought, that might be a bit too dangerous. So I turned around then and went back from the 2 degrees water into the 6 degrees water, and it felt like swimming into a tropical bath. The difference was only 4 degrees, but when it's that cold, it's really intense. So I just finished my loop. I did about 1K and then got out, and then went home and got back in the spa.
So he slightly undersold it when he says, I like to swim. What's your current swim streak? How many days?
I started swimming in 2014. I thought I'll start swimming every day because I'd read a book where a bloke had swum every day for a year. And I had a few false starts because work got in the way, and I couldn't swim one day, and then another day in February I lost that. So eventually on the 3rd of March, I just started my streak, and I haven't been interrupted since then. So it's 4,530 something days. So it's 12 and a bit years. So, and I haven't missed a day swimming. So.
And you're going to swim tomorrow out on course?
Yeah, I'll swim tomorrow. There's a few places. When I do runs like this, I always find a spot. I did Tarawera a few years ago, and I found a few spots in the lakes there. And I've swum. I've done the 50 here a couple of times. So I've done Urumbalum Creek and down there
you can swim out in the 100 course as well.
Yeah, I
the
know. I saw
confluence.
that.
It's a good swim spot. It's actually a really nice swim
the
spot.
junction, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably be there at 10 o'clock tomorrow night.
Perfect. Might be cold enough for you.
Yeah. There'll be eels out then.
Cool. All right. We'll jump back to Matt. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, Western States and the heat. So how did you? Well, it wasn't a notoriously hot year, but still warm, I imagine. How did that go for you, and how did your day go generally?
Yeah, so Western States is famous for its heat and for these canyons where the temperature gets, it's always above 40 degrees Celsius. And so I'd done a lot of training. I had the special ice bandanas, and I had a whole strategy built around wearing a singlet and not having a vest, and so I could keep cool. And then the night before, the cold front went through, and the next morning we were running up the hill, and it was only about 2 or 3 degrees Celsius.
Oh, wow.
And we had our jackets on, and we actually started to get a few of the symptoms, very early symptoms of altitude sickness and cold up there. It did warm up as the day went on, and by the time I got to the canyons, it had warmed up, but it just wasn't that hot. So I just had some ice under my hat and just had the icy water melting down the back of my neck. And when we got to the awards after the race, they told us that was the coldest year they've ever had. So a lot of training for the heat.
Did you do a lot of training?
Yeah, as much as possible. I had some injuries in January of this year during summer, so I missed some of doing the heat training. And it was the thing that had frightened me was the heat, and then it just didn't appear for this 1 year. I don't know why. It's probably never going to happen again.
Perfect.
Yeah, bit of an anticlimax in the end.
Yeah. And did that help you? Like, how did that go in terms of, like, did you have a time that you were aiming for, or were you just going for completion and yeah?
So the first and most important was completion. It's such a hard event to get into, 8 years in the lottery, and then obviously going all the way over there. So just to finish it is far more important than anything else, because you may not ever get this chance again in the rest of your life. And that's a little bit strange. People have that attitude of, this is my one shot. Don't DNF, take it easy. And so I think ironically the times are slowing down for the back of the pack, and the completion rates going up over the years, at least in the non-elite section. It was strange because, it became apparent the day before that our previous race strategy of managing heat was now going to get thrown in the bin and be replaced by actually managing cold. So that was a little bit interesting, just having your race strategy completely turned on its head. And a lot of people I saw started bringing vests and things, and I tried to stick to the same strategy as much as possible, and I just had to sort of carry a jacket around and until I could get to my crew and dump it. So it was, it's interesting there, dealing with unexpected things.
And what was the high, what made it so special was the buzz around it and the amount of people? Is that what stood out as? Or what was the course like as well? Any surprises? And
yeah, you're definitely right. The highlight was the event and the experience, and just being in the start village the day before when you're checking in. There's a huge amount of swag. That you're given, all of this stuff from all of the sponsors. Hocker's there giving everyone a pair of shoes. Shocks is giving everyone a set of headphones. And then, you're seeing Jim Walmsley, and we actually pulled up in the parking lot, and Rebecca Entrin just walked past, who's just won Cocodona 250 miles outright, let alone just as females. So yeah, it's this. What stands out is that just the eventness of it, just the extreme level of excitement. And I think there's about 20 aid stations for 100 miler.
Yeah, right.
So there's an aid station every 5 kilometres or so. And so that's quite weird going, 5 kilometres, here's an aid station with 20 volunteers, another 5 kilometres, here's another aid station with 20 volunteers, going through towns where everyone's out there, cheering you on, and people that live in the town are cheering you on. It's,
So it's worth the wait.
It's worth the wait, yeah.
Nice. Awesome. question for Bert. So, in terms of managing cold, as like it's going to be cold tomorrow, you said you're going to go with no shirt. So, is it just start? What's the saying? Be bold, start cold, or like, and you know, for some people here running their first 100k as well, all through the night, it's going to be cold overnight. Do you have any kind of tips or strategies for managing a cold run, and also, just mental strategies? Because you said you hadn't run a lot, and then you just smashed out these crazy distances. So interested in that too.
I think for myself for the cold, it's like I actually grew up not far from Armidale at Niangla, so yeah, it used to snow every winter. So I think my tolerance to the cold is just from what I've grown up and used to.
Yeah.
In terms of people running the first 100 or first 50 or say first 100, if you're going through the night time, it's like, definitely be smart. It's like, don't wait till you're cold before you actually put something on. Because if you're already cold and you throw a jacket on, it's the time period before you actually warm up, and it can really mess with your head a bit. Just be a bit more be proactive rather than reactive. It's same with nutrition too. It's like nutrition's a tricky one because if it's really easy to leave nutrition until it's too late, and going into the night time too, it can be quite hard because you normally don't eat through the night time. So whatever you can get in early in the day, definitely get it in, and try to be more proactive than reactive with or anything really. Same with if you've got issues with feet, socks, whatever. It's like address them as you go. Otherwise, little things turn into big things.
Yeah, and when it is cold and it's the middle of the night, and you're at that 70, 80k mark, how do you deal with those difficult moments in ultras?
I find even if my mind wanders off and doesn't want to be there, and you start questioning your life choices, your body will still keep going. So you can have a mental downer in your head, but as long as you let your body keep going, it's like keep that in your head, let your body do what it's got to do, and then before too long, once you start ticking over kilometres, you're like, oh wait a minute, I'm at 90k now, I'm at 95k now, and then your mental state actually start picking back up. If you're feeling down, it's like keep that party in your head, and just keep trudging on, and then it won't take too long, and you realise you've just covered a fair distance in that time, and it'll start turning back around.
So it doesn't last forever.
Definitely not.
It can feel like it lasts forever in the moment. That's good advice. Any other tips and tricks from someone who's gone through many nights at a time, dealing with any other nighttime tips, sleep tips, or anything you've got?
Probably a good one. I know it sounds bad, but misery likes company. So if you are suffering and you're at a similar pace as somebody, it's like run with them, chat with them. You'll be surprised how much even having a conversation will distract not only yourself but for them. It just takes your mind off it. So if you can have that company out there, definitely have it. Like a lot of the runs I've done, especially FKTs, is I always try to line up with Pacer for different sections. Not that it's always worked out that way, but you definitely notice a difference having company. So if things are getting hard and you got people around you, it's like start a conversation.
Yeah.
It definitely help you get through.
That's good advice. Thank you. Olivia, you're running a shorter distance for you this weekend. Is it 30? I got that right? How are you approaching that? From nutrition? I mean, a lot of people, almost everyone here is running a non-ultra distance. I guess, how are you approaching that coming from a ultra running kind of background, and and also maybe talk to some of your coaching as well and what you do with that?
Yeah, so it's a little bit shorter for me, which is a little bit more intimidating, I think. I'm really good at running slow for a very long time. I'm not an overly fast runner. But in terms of nutrition, I'm approaching it exactly the same as I would any other race, and how I train as well. So I'll try and consume something every 30 to 40 minutes at the most. Most of it would probably be gels tomorrow, just because it's a shorter distance. But I will be taking some lollies and things like that as well, because in the event I don't feel like a gel or I'm feeling sick or something like that, lollies are a really great way to get the carbs in. So yeah, that'll be my nutrition plan for tomorrow. Same as all my races. It's probably even more important for me if I want to go out at a faster pace. I'm trying to maintain that pace. I'm going to need a lot of carbs in my system. So, yeah.
And maybe talk about your coaching, like what got you interested in that, and how that's kind of going. And
Sure.
Do you have anyone you're coaching this weekend?
No, not here. I don't have anyone I'm coaching here. But yeah, I started coaching at the start of the year, and I absolutely love it. I enjoy hearing the experiences of others and helping them in their experience probably more than I actually enjoy running myself. I started out coaching a couple of friends, and then it kind of snowballed from there. They just wanted some tips and tricks on running, so I was coaching them for free for like 6 months, and then I took on a couple more athletes. I love it more than I love my own running. So yeah.
Nice. And do you have any other events now coming up for the rest of the year? I just found out, I think 2 weeks ago now, that I'm in Coast to Cozzy. So I've got Coast to Cozzy coming up in November. It's the first time I've done it. Very intimidating race as well. A lot of road running, which I'm not really a road runner. So, I'm really excited for that one. It's, pretty great race. And that's something different as well. Like, did you choose that deliberately to do something different from what you've done before? Or what excited you about that race?
I think I watch the race every year. I follow the race. And I think the community, from what I've seen, it's an amazing community. And I've listened to a lot of podcasts and everyone says the same thing. Not many people get in and get to do it each year, so I thought, why not just apply it and see? There's a bit of criteria you have to meet, and you kind of have to put a race resume in, and you submit your resume, and then you get a phone call to say you've been selected to do the race. So that's kind of a unique experience in itself, but it's a distance I've never done. I've never done 240 Ks, 207 I think it was at Dead Cow. That was my longest I've run. It's also a little bit different. I'm excited with the format of where you can have your crew kind of pacing you at almost, I think after 40 Ks, they can kind of stop wherever along the course.
I know.
It's after 20. Yep, there you go. So that's a cool, I'm looking forward to that as well. I think it's the idea around starting on the beach and summiting Kosciuszko is, pretty epic.
Very cool. We're laughing because I crewed Matt at Coast to Cozzy and other Matt here, and let's just say it was an experience and a half. I think crewing is harder than running that event, and in some ways, no, running the event is a huge effort, but I was destroyed by the end.
Someone hallucinated and it wasn't the runner.
Yeah, I was hallucinating at the end. Very tough race. That's really exciting. Do you have a crew lined up?
I've already had my auntie and a really good friend of mine reach out and say they want to pace me. So I think I've already got a couple of paces, which is cool. My family will crew me. They crew me at all my races, so I'm pretty lucky.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Move on to Pete. So I feel like we could talk a while on Coast to Cozzy, but we'll park that one there. So Pete, I want to talk about pre-race rituals. Could you talk through yours? Because you got an interesting one. And things to keep you entertained on the run, because I feel like you got some interesting perspectives on that.
Well, before I do an event or anything that's bigger than a marathon, run or swim, I'll open a fortune cookie and I'll have a look at I'll read the fortune, and that'll be something to think about during the run. But you also look on the back, they've got numbers, and you try and see if there's any significance in those numbers, and you keep the numbers in mind. So you maybe might have 6, 12, 30, whatever, and maybe on a run something might happen at 30 k's. So you just sort of, the fortune says that. So, but other things I do. I do a lot of at night time. We've got the head torch on, so I'll be looking, spotlighting, and looking at the eye shines of spiders on the ground, and we've had some pretty cool experience. I like nighttime because a lot of things come out, and I've seen koalas crossing the track, running through a bushfire burnt area, and there was a little koala on the ground. I don't know how he went, but I've seen mass emergence of cicadas. They come out every 13 years or so, and we were in, I think it was Werrikimbe, one time with Graham, who spoke last year and who does a lot of my adventures with me, and there were just millions of cicadas that had just crawled up, and there were like 3 cicadas hanging off each other, just splitting the back of their larval skin and turning into adults, and in the morning they dry their skins, and then they start calling, and it's really loud. So you get back after a 100k run and you're trying to sleep in your tent, and all these cicadas are just going crazy. And of course swimming is the other thing. They're the main things, and again, like you said, talking to someone, having someone to go through the suffering with you, and just you meet people when you're doing big runs that you've never met before, and you probably will never meet again. So you go into quite deep areas and have good conversations.
So if you want to see some koalas out there, run with Pete tomorrow. Yeah. That's what he's saying, and some entertaining experiences. So yeah, I mean, I have never seen a koala in the wild still, even though I've run out here like 100 times. But Josh, who's not here, was course marking last year and saw one out there. So especially at night, you might have a good chance of seeing them out there.
Well, yeah, keep your head torches high, and you'll see the eye shines. The possums have orange eye shines, and koalas, and you might see wallabies and kangaroos and stuff.
There's definitely lots of lyrebirds out there, lots of wallabies out there. So you've run the course, you've done the 50k a few times, and also probably been out that way on the 100k course before, maybe?
Yeah.
So could you talk through, what do you expect out there?
Sore legs at 16k's. When you go down that first hill to your Rumbalum Creek, it's a big steep descent. Use poles if you've got them, and take it easy, or you'll overload your legs, and then you've got to turn around and come back up it. So, but it's a beautiful course. Just the rainforest and the creeks, and then you get up onto the lookout, and there's a nice view over the area, I think. And then north, you're going through more forest, and there's a nice creek or river. What is it? The Little Nimboida River, at about 76 or 78 k's. And there's some nice big trees, tallowood trees, and it's a nice course.
Cool. Might throw out to the audience if you have any questions for our 4 panellists, and then I'll talk through some more stuff on the day, conscious of where we're at. Time goes fast. Yes, any questions? Yes, Mr. Fring.
One for Pete, one for Olivia. What constitutes a swim in a day to maintain your streak? And also for Olivia, how far did you run at Dead Cow?
Well, when I started, it was 2.5 k's per day, but then that got too hard with work. I was flying over to Western Australia, and I had to catch a 6 o'clock plane, so I shortened it to 1k, and then when I do events like this and you don't have time to do a k, I'll make sort of exceptions, and I'll have to do at least 50. So the bottom line, and preferably 100 metres. So, the bottom line is, I've got to get in and just be able to swim and float and have a look around. But the distance I've done up to 30 is the biggest swims I've done in that time. And the smallest would be probably 50, a bit more than 50.
What was the question? How far? 207 kilometres, and it was 31 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah.
You have to come to Coff's Backyard Ultra. Yeah. I think Claire Palmer is looking for some competition. I don't know if Claire's here. She's actually running the 100K tomorrow as well. So she couldn't make it to the panel. But yeah, it's like, at the backyards, are you keen to get to a certain goal? Like, do you have a goal? If you said you might want to do another one, or you just want to see how far you can go, or what's the, yeah.
Definitely just seeing how far I can go. I'd like to at least get into the second night. That's probably my next goal. Similar to yourself, I love running at night. I find it a lot smoother and a lot easier. So, yeah, probably my next goal. The backyard.
Any other questions for?
Mine's a sort of a strange Great North Walk question. The Patonga Brooklyn bit, how does that affect the fastest known times?
So with the FKT, you can either use boat or car. So either is accepted by FKT. I prefer boat because the boat you can do in about 15 minutes. The car takes about an hour. So the clock doesn't stop. So when I went out and back in 2019, we used the car, but I said I didn't have. I was 6 months in the run, so I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, every other time since then, it's been a boat. Because it's the same from Woolwich Pier to Sydney Cove. Yeah, like you got to get the boat. Oh, no, sorry, you don't have to get the boat. You can drive around on that bit, but the boat's way quicker. Yeah.
Do you organise your own boat?
Yeah, so from Patonga to Brooklyn, a mate of mine, he's come out and done the boat bit for me there, but at Woolwich Pier to Sydney Cove, you pretty much, if you don't take the ferry, you've got to get the water taxi because they're the only ones who can pull up at Sydney Cove. Yeah. What are you keen on giving it a go?
Walking it is as much as I'm keen, but I've only got one more small section to do, but I've just literally come back from that section.
Oh, congrats. It's a tough section.
The guy, the bloke who promised to take me across cancelled on the morning. And I was scrambling around.
Yeah, right.
Looking for the water taxi.
People...
The world's grumpiest 25-year-old man.
Yeah, right.
It was hilarious. He was so grumpy, my brother and I just kept trying to.
Yeah, there's some people who are trying to change the course. Not all that long ago, probably only about 12 months ago. So you get a little wobbly. I don't know little wobbly that well, but apparently you can catch.
I can talk to some of that.
Oh, you know
stuff.
that?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a convenient question. I'm the FKT editor for Australia, so all submissions, including Bert's and other ones, come to me for review. So yeah, with that, you can't actually do under the rules, you can't do the GNW unsupported because you have to have someone take you in a boat. So yeah, I mean, if you're doing 250 Ks, you're highly likely going to be supported, in any case. And yeah, the Little Wobby variation is basically a section where Little Wobby has a public ferry you can take across to Brooklyn. So that allows you to basically do it self-supported, I think. Self-supported. Yeah. So, yeah.
You get paid to swim across the river?
Well, look, I've had people ask me, can I do this 250K thing and swim? And I said, you're going to swim Sydney Harbour, will reach the Circular Quay? No, I'm not accepting that as an option. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Yeah, so I don't know if they're just trying to test the limits of the guidelines and the rules, but yeah.
I've seen bull sharks in Mullen Creek.
Yeah, so no swimming. Yeah. Okay. Back to Rumble. So conscious of time and wanting to get some food and things like that. So a couple of things to expect out there for all distances. So just trying to run through them. So tomorrow we're starting out, you do a lap around the oval and run through some single track. So that does narrow out fairly quickly. Just keep that in mind. It got all cut and cleaned up today. So that single track rows through past a guy's private property and you come to some traffic management on a road. So there's some stop-go people with that. And then you're running on, for the most part, in all distances, a large majority is on forest roads. there's they're nice forest roads running, and they are quite hilly. But you are, running on mostly forest roads with all the out and backs for those doing the longer distances, especially are basically the highlights of like the particular highlight. So the 21k turns around at the Bangalore Falls, which is pretty much the highlight of the park, and the 30k runs through another kind of loop from there. Through some a bit more technical management trail, which is a really nice section, and the 50k does 3 more out, and this is the 100 as well, does 3 more out and backs from there, following down to some creeks to another waterfall and a really good lookout. So basically you'll see, if you're doing a long distance, you'll see people all day with the out and back sections of the course. And even the 21, probably the 30 is the only one you wouldn't see people so much, because it's more of like a lollipop. You run out, do a loop and come back. The courses are course marked at pretty much all yesterday. It's all looking really good. For those doing the 100k, once you get back to here at 50k's, you head out to the new section. The first 5k is on actually a bitumen road before you get back in the forest, and you have to wear a high-vis vest on the day or night when you're out there. That's part of our road approvals. But then once you're out there, again, you're on forest roads that crews will be driving on. So there's a couple of signs just to let crews know. So just keep in mind, if you're got crew going out there and you're running out there in the 100, there's cars as well that will be going out to those aid stations. That section out there is a little bit less hilly than the first 50k. You can expect another really spectacular waterfall. Actually, one of the probably the highlight of the hinterland in terms of waterfalls out there. And then a bunch more kind of side tracks and I guess forest roads and varied terrain out there. Trying to think if anything particular is changed from previous years. The main one would be that when you get to if you've done the 50, this mostly affects the 50Ks and the 100Ks. When you get to the bottom of Pine Road, you go down a really long descent, running out to a waterhole, which is a great swimming spot, by the way. We've added, there's a couple of little changes in there. It's all signposted, but the course is more or less the same as it has been in previous years. All the tracks are looking pretty good. So, any questions about what to expect out there? Courses, race director things? Happy to answer anything. Yep.
With the vest, can we leave it here then and just take it from here? Or
The what?
the high-vis vest? Or do we have to carry it with the vest?
Yeah, I'd prefer they're carried. Look, they don't weigh much, and I would rather you carry it and remember that you've got it on you and grab it than getting here 50k's in and not forgetting to pick it up, which has happened, I've seen in races, because I will DNF you if you're on the road without it. It's part of our traffic approval, the only reason we're allowed to run on a shared public road. So I prefer you carry it, and we will have volunteers here reminding you. When you come back here, if you're doing the 100, the aid station for the 50k will be, basically you'll do a lap of the oval, and instead of running through the chute, we'll have a little side bit where you can just grab your drop bag, or your crew can support you from there. And then head back out, and we'll have that kind of sign posted up and stuff. So from when you get back to the hall, from here onwards, wear your high-vis vest. Once you've passed the bitumen section and you're back in the forest, if it's still daylight, you can take the vest off. But once it's nighttime again, putting it back on, particularly because there's so many crew and car that will be driving on those shared roads. So if it's at nighttime, wear your vest no matter what. If it's daytime, we're on the bitumen roads. We'll pretty much just be only going out. It may be some people who are fast enough that will be coming back in the daylight on the road, but so that's how that will work. Richard.
Are we permitted to access our cars when we're back?
Yes, I'm happy for you to come back if you want to get anything here. If you want to come in, whatever it is you need here, get something from the kitchen, whatever that might be, that's fine. So just make sure when you come in, you kind of do a lap around of the oval, exit through the aid station kind of point for the 100k runners, and then yeah, you can grab whatever you need. Yeah. Cool.
So we don't have to start wearing the vest for that?
No, so you don't have to start wearing the vest. So the section that's got traffic management is for all distances, going out and back in the 50k course. So it's like they've got stop go, so the road's closed for people only. It's only about 400 metres or 500 metres of road. That section over there has no formal traffic control. It's 5k's of bitumen, but it's a dead end road. Once you get through the little village, there's like a few houses and that we still have to wear the vests because it's a public council road. Yeah, hope that answers the questions about that. Cool. Well, thank you. Thanks for your time, Matt, Olivia and Pete. Can we get a round of applause? Thank you. So for those joining us at the club, you can walk up from here or drive up. It's about 400 or 500 metres away. We did take some orders on by form, but that was just to give them an indication. So just make sure you go there, put in your order, So Rego, for the 100k runners, please collect your trackers and bibs. Said Rego opens at 5:45, but just we'll try and be ready by 5:45 for a 6:30 start. And the 50Ks, we're just going to give it an extra 5 minutes before you start, so 6:35 for the 50Ks, just so we can break up the field a little bit and just manage some congestion out there. Cool. Okay, thanks everyone, and all the best for tomorrow. Cool, thank you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for the chat.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks for the chat. Pete?
I ran the other day in Armidale and I had a handheld water bottle and it was -7.